Erotic love poetry in the Bible, you ask. Where? Song of Songs, Shir hashirm, the Song of Solomon. It's in the third section of the Hebrew Bible in the writings. And we chant it on Passover. It has a unique melody that's used only for 3 books of the Bible in the Jewish tradition, and Eastern European music roughly sounds like this, and it's used for Ruth and Ecclesiastes too. Shir hashirm, asher li Shlomo, yishakeni mo Yerushalayim, zedodi hine zeba. Now, what is the book about? Well, it's a collection of love songs that bear a considerable resemblance to both ancient and modern love songs in the Near East. The lovers dwell on each other's physical beauty, which they describe by means of far-fetched similes, as popular Arab love songs do, and on their sexual enjoyment of each other, which is likened to delightful sensations of taste and smells, and it's done without any grossness. Appreciations of the sights, sounds, and smells of the land of Israel, and most scholars attribute it to about the 3rd century BCE. Now, the book is entirely profane. God is never mentioned, so why would it be in the Bible? Well, first of all, it's attributed to King Solomon, who lived about 1000 BCE, so 700 years, before the book was actually written. And it was accepted as canonical without reinterpretation. For a marriage is ordained in the Bible, and a husband and wife sexual satisfaction is never regarded as shameful by the Bible or by the rabbis. However, there still was a discussion in Yamnia, a discussion about the Mishnah, and Yedayim 3, number 5, records the question raised at Yamnia in about 90 as to whether the book should be included. But Rabbi Akiva, who lived in the 2nd century, couldn't believe there was ever an argument about whether Song of Songs should be included in the Bible, because it was reinterpreted as an allegory of God and Israel. Basically, the way it was reinterpreted was that God and Israel had a relationship. God delivered her from Egypt, chose her to be his people, bestowed upon her the precious gift of the Torah. Sometimes she didn't serve God faithfully and backslid, but God always took her back. And so that is how they interpreted this book in order to make it clear that it belonged in the Bible. But we should appreciate it for what it is, and it's spread at Passover because of the illusions of spring and of beauty and of love and the land of Israel. And I want to sing for you a few of the verses that have popular melodies. And I'll tell you one story. The first story is, there's a verse in here that says, I'm to my beloved as my beloved is to me. This is on chapter 6, verse 3. Ani ledodi v'dodi li haroeh bashoshanim. Now that's interpreted as, I'm to my beloved as my beloved is to me. Now, one interpretation is he browses among the roses or lilies, or roeh can also be a shepherd. So when my first child was born, it was a girl, but my mother didn't know, and she asked us to call her whenever the baby was born and tell her. Now, she knew the baby would be named with an S, because after my father, who had died a few years before. So we called her when the baby was born at 3 in the morning and woke her up, and she said, what was it? And I said, well, I'll sing you a song. Do, di, li, va, ni, lo, ha, ro, eh, ba, sho, shanim, do, di, li. Trying to tell her, obviously, it was a girl named Shoshana. But my mother knows Hebrew well, and she, of course, biased and thought it was a boy, said, you had a boy, you named him Shepherd? Translating from the Hebrew at 3 o'clock in the morning. I thought that was pretty good. So let me sing you now a few of the popular melodies from this beautiful book. You should definitely read it for the enjoyment, and try and understand it on both the literal level of love poetry and on the level of music. Okay, so a couple of the tunes. Chapter 1, verse 15. Hinach yafa rayatich, hina yafa inayich yonim. Chapter 2, verse 2. Kishoshana ben hachochin ken rayati ben habanot. Kitapuach batze ya'ar ken dodi ben habanim. And then verse 8 there. Kol dodi, kol dodi, kol dodi, hine zeba. Kol dodi, kol dodi, kol dodi, hine zeba. Midaleg el heharim, mikabetz al hagvaot. Midaleg el heharim, mikabetz al hagvaot. And that means, hark my beloved, there he comes, leaping over mountains, bounding over hills. And then here's a very popular wedding song, chapter 2, verse 16. As my beloved is to me, and I am his, who browses among the lilies. Do di li vani lo haroeh basho shanim do di li vani lo haroeh basho shanim do di li. Or verse 6 in chapter 3, who is she that comes from the desert like columns of smoke and clouds of mire and frankincense? Mizod olah min hamidbar, mizod olah min hamidbar. Sorry my voice isn't better, because these are really some very beautiful songs. Anyway, so those are some of the beautifuls. Turn back, O maid of Shulam, turn back, that we may gaze upon you. Chapter 7, I am to my beloved, and his desire is for me. Come, my beloved, let us go into the open. Let us lodge among the henna shrubs. Let us go to the vineyards and see if the vine has flowered. Just beautiful poetry. Song of Songs, Shir Shirim, the Song of Solomon. Read